He did for music what Moses did for the Jews. He's the most prolific music writer since the invention of music itself back in the 1800s. His name is Mark Prindle. You can find his reviews at, surprisingly, markprindle.com, along with tons of interviews with some of the most interesting people in all of rock music. And he's here with us once again to talk about the latest news in pop music. He knows tones like I know cones. So, Mark, Amy Winehouse is back in the hospital today,
yes,
reportedly due to a drug and drink binge she undertook after announcing her plans to divorce Blake Sybil Fielder, her husband. Allegedly, Sybil Fielder has left Amy for a German model named Sophie Schandorf. Mark, why? Why would he do this?
I know, I can't believe it either, Greg. I mean, basically the entire time he was in prison, she was always backing him up. She was kind of like his hero.
Yes.
Excuse me? Heroin.
Oh, that's it, that's it. Now, an article in Sunday's News of the World claims that Amy and Blake's entire relationship was based on sex, including threesomes and lesbian romps. What do you think of this debauchery?
I'm not too surprised about the lesbian romps. I imagine the other girls probably just thought she was a guy.
That's true, that's true. Now, according to a friend of Amy, quoted in the article, another reason for the breakup is that, quote, he sponged off her and she's awake to that now. Thoughts?
I hope he sponged her off. You can't, like, walk around with that stuff all over you.
Yeah, that's true. She has quite a skin condition. It's been a bad year for Amy, though, Mark. Wasn't she also supposed to have done the theme song for the new James Bond movie?
Yeah, she was. But there's always next time for that. You know, maybe the next one will be, like, Quantum of or something, you know.
There you
That'd
go.
be good for her because she's always...
That is true. Now, in other news, Guns N' Roses' long-awaited Chinese Democracy has been banned by the Chinese government. Why is that?
Well, can you blame them after the infamous spaghetti incident?
Terrible. Apparently, though, Chinese internet users have complained that the album is part of a Western plot to, quote, control the world using democracy as a pawn.
I mean, Axl Rose can barely control his hair weave. What is it, using democracy as a pawn? What does that even mean?
I have no idea.
Are they just saying that Chinese democracy is going to end up in a lot of pawn shops?
I don't know, Mark.
I can't really disagree with that.
You might be right. Now, in related news, Dr. Pepper this week lived up to its promise to give a free 20-ounce soda to everyone in America if Chinese Democracy was released in 2008. Do you think that their offer may actually have influenced the band to complete the record?
Yes, actually. From what I understand, there was a miscommunication back in March. Somebody in the Axl Rose camp read about this promotion and then told Axl that if he finished the album in time, he'd get 20 ounces of free Coke. And I guess Axl was a fan of that because, boy, he gave it the hot foot.
He really did. Now, what do you personally think about the long-awaited return of Guns N' Roses?
Oh, I am thrilled. You know, I grew up with these guys.
Yeah.
Slash and Steven Adler, Izzy Stradlin. I think it's awesome how he fired all of them.
That is true. And left with a man with a bucket on his head. Now, moving on, disgraced vocalist Boy George is on trial in London this week for allegedly handcuffing a male escort to his bedroom wall and beating him with a metal chain. Your thoughts on this?
Well, do you remember that old Boy George song, Do You Really Want to Hurt Me? So does every other reporter covering this story.
Yes, that is so true. The escort claims that he posed nude for Boy George. Then Boy George angrily accused him of hacking into his computer. Then the escort agreed to pose nude for him again. Why would he agree to a second nude session if he knew that Boy George was already mad at him?
I know, it's insane. Can you imagine a male prostitute making a bad decision? What's going on?
In fairness, he said he would pay me for the second photo shoot. Right?
That's true, that's it. Does Boy George even make music anymore?
Yeah, he just had that, just a few years ago, he had that hit of cocaine that got him arrested in Manhattan.
Now, final story. Rolling Stone Keith Richards is considering releasing a CD of easy listening covers that are recorded over the years. What's your opinion on this?
Well, considering how hard to listen to all his other albums are, this could be a good change of pace.
Do you think as rock fans will welcome this easy listening record?
I think so, because you know it's got a Judy Garland cover on it.
Yes.
And you got to give Keith his due, because regardless of alcoholism and drug addiction and personal injuries, media controversies, Judy Garland did put out some good songs.
Yes, that she did. But he's also doing Perry Como and Andy Williams Williams, Hoagie Carmichael. Who knew that he was a fan?
I know, it's crazy. I mean, apparently some of these songs were actually recorded when he was in jail in Toronto for the heroin thing in 1977. And someone asked me earlier today, because I was going to mention, if I felt like that was sort of like kind of like a artistic, like strong art coming from
the hardship.
Yeah, from hardship. And I respond, well, you know, if so, it's unfortunate that he didn't get a longer sentence because he still was able to do emotional rescue.
That is true.
Later.
All right, Mr. Prindle, we gotta go. See you soon. Have a happy Thanksgiving.
Okay, you too.
And happy birthday to Neil Hamburger.
Yes.
Coming up next, we'll give my mom a call, find out what she's doing on this Thanksgiving.
That's a great ending.
Mean turkey. There she is, trying to open the wine. That's over.